What's up, guys? Today I'm here to give my quick thoughts on the recent controversy with Star Wars Theory and the other YouTuber named Levi, I believe his name is. Let me just start out by saying I think they're both in the wrong, and I'm going to explain why. To catch everyone up to speed who maybe doesn't know what's going on. So, a couple nights ago, Star Wars Theory had a live stream that basically spotlighted like smaller channels, which is a pretty cool thing. And this YouTuber named Levi, um, I believe he has a different channel name. I don't know what that is, but so he comes on there and he's talking pretty positively at first and contributing to the group for a couple minutes, but then he goes on this tangent about how he thinks if Star Wars Theory doesn't like The Last Jedi or thinks it's trash, that he should say like, in my opinion, it's trash, or he shouldn't, there's some BS about he shouldn't try to represent the community that way, or that because of his status as the biggest Star Wars YouTuber, he um, has like an obligation to, I guess, phrase things in a certain way, which is a pretty ridiculous argument. And I don't know what the point of him saying that was. I will say this to his credit: he acknowledged his mistake later on, and which is very rare in the Star Wars community. The majority of the time, people, they have their opinions, they're closed-minded, and they can't admit they're wrong. So he, we'll get to that later. So understandably, theory's like a little bit thrown off because this Levi guy saying he has a problem with his channel, which that's like very confrontational uh, terms, especially when you're on someone else's channel and they're kind of like giving you exposure and that sort of thing uh, to grow your channel. So the theory's a little thrown off by this, and for a minute or so, he's talking calm and reasonably, but then for like 10 or 15 minutes, he's going off on like on the kid, and this is like a 19-year-old kid who, and look, I'm on the younger side of Star Wars fandom myself. I'm not too much older than Levi, but I'd like to think I'm more mature than this kid, or even more mature than the way Theory was acting. Because for like instead of like booting him from the stream for like 15 minutes, he goes off on him. I understand maybe countering his argument, making a point for a minute or two, but no, he just rants on him. It seemed like he was trying to humiliate him. And look, I fundamentally agree with Theory's point of view on this, that nobody should have to uh, phrase things carefully so that someone else can digest it better. That's not anyone's responsibility. And I don't know the point this Levi individual was trying to make, because so he likes the sequels and stuff, and that's cool, but like doesn't mean everyone else will. Look, my second favorite Star Wars movie is Attack of the Clones. Most people uh, dislike the film and criticize it, but do you think that's going to change my point of view on the film? No, I love it no matter what people say. It's not for me to say like, "Oh, don't talk about Attack of the Clones this way." I wouldn't even care. I don't care if if me and George Lucas are the only two people in the world who like it. I think it's a great movie. So if this Levi individual liked The Last Jedi, good for him. But don't try to tell people what they can and can't say about it. And he used this phrase from the prequels that like this war represents a failure to listen, which is just very out of place. I don't know what he was getting at, because there's no war going on. Just, it's really corny and cliche to use like a movie quote to make your argument. The kid was making no sense. He's I think for his age he has a pretty advanced vocabulary, but I got to be honest, it didn't really seem like he knew what he was talking about. And Theory just takes the opportunity to bury this individual, because let's be honest, I didn't, I only checked out the part of the stream where the controversy was going on for like those 15 minutes, but they were talking for 2 hours before that. I guarantee a lot of people didn't watch that part. They thought it was boring. So Theory tried to milk this for as long as he could, just like he milked the whole thing about crying when Luke Skywalker returned in The Mandalorian. Make no mistake about it. I don't think Theory is always genuine. I'm going to get to that more in the video. But while we're on the subject of the whole Luke Skywalker thing, so that had to be fake. I mean, what grown man can cry for 20 minutes over a Jedi destroying battle droid? Not battle, death troopers, whatever they were. Might as well have been battle droids. It was a cool scene. It was cool to see Luke Skywalker. But first of all, it was kind of predictable. I mean, who else was it going to be? I mean, I thought maybe Ezra Bridger, but the thing is, the casual fan, and a lot of casual Star Wars fans watched The Mandalorian. It brought a lot of eyes to Star Wars. So um, it wasn't going to be Plo Koon. It wasn't going to be Ezra Bridger. It was like, no, it was going to be Luke. So he just wanted the clickbait. He wanted the views and that sort of thing. I mean, and you might say to me, well, you only have 20 subscribers, so your opinion's worthless. Look, if I bought expensive equipment and I speculated about Star Wars, or made speculations and created clickbait titles, I'd probably have 3 billion subscribers too. But that's not my goal at the moment. But anyways, back to this whole situation. So out of nowhere, this Levi individual, he starts like relentlessly apologizing, and like it was cringy because like, okay, if you think maybe you saw the error of your ways and you can apologize once, but no, he just like he seemed borderline like almost in tears over it. It was really like embarrassing to watch, and it's like no matter how shitty other people might think your opinion is, at least own it. Don't cower like that. That would be my advice, because like you made yourself look like a fool. And I think that's what Theory was trying to do. I think he got off on having like the power in that situation, and um, roasting a 19-year-old because he's 10 years older. He has his wits about him more, and he's going to win an argument with a 19-year-old 9 times out of 10. So he took full advantage of that. So then it gets worse. So the next night, or which was last night, they apparently cleared the air. That was the title of the video. And basically all it was just more apologies from Levi, and Theory soaking up every minute of it, just acting superior and like he's a good person, and like the only, which he may be, I don't know. I don't know one way or another. He seems disingenuous at times. But he starts like saying he's making the video so that Levi won't get bullied. Look, he knows as well as I and the rest of you know that nothing he says is going to prevent people from coming to his channel and leaving hate comments. Now, admittedly, Levi set himself up for that by making a stupid comment about trying to tell people what they can and can't say. That's what my last video was about, what a toxic Star Wars fan looks like in 2021. I encourage you to check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, the whole situation is very petty. I saw a lot of people saying that in the chat. There was blame for both individuals, and I gotta say I agree with it. I think they both handled themselves very poorly. Um, I do kind of tend to sympathize with Levi more, because even though there was no purpose of him bringing up whatever his stupid point was in the stream, he owned up to it to a fault. He kind of like exaggerated like his level of remorse and all this stuff. So, but it seemed like Fury was kind of, and this is just my interpretation, was kind of like forcing an apology, like in subtle ways. Like I think that was the whole purpose of it, is to make himself look good in the end. Now, I understand Theory's initial reaction when this kid started like trashing his channel, which I don't think his intent was to trash his channel. I think he just made a moronic statement. It was innocent as far as like he wasn't like trying to just disparage or cause harm or anything. I just think he made an idiotic statement. I do understand Theory being blindsided by it and reacting to it at the time, but the fact it went on for 15 minutes and the intent was to embarrass this kid, I don't think that's cool either. And that's basically all I got to say about it. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there real quick. I mean, dude, I'm getting tired of like I used to be a fan of Theory, but like all his videos are clickbait, and I don't know how many of you have seen the one of he made some video claiming that like in Revenge of the Sith when uh the Darth Vader suit was being placed on Anakin, that before the helmet goes on him, that he started like saying something about Padme or something to that effect, and like he was analyzing the lip movements, but he didn't say anything. See, he just that's why it's called Star Wars theory. He has a lot of theories that aren't really well founded. They just pulls shit out of his ass and expects a lot of people buy into it. He doesn't really contribute much when it comes to facts. He just has his speculation, and that's what a lot of people want nowadays. Um, you know, I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous with him milking the Luke Skywalker return, saying that like when he was a kid, Luke Skywalker was his strength, and like that's all well and fine, but I mean, I just don't buy it. I really don't. And to an extent, I feel bad for this Levi kid because his uh, his channel is going to be bombarded at least for the next few weeks. But people have a very short attention span now. Give it a month or so. No one's even going to remember this happened. So I think he'll recover from it. He came across to me as a better human being than Theory. Now, I know he did the very thing I criticized that Reddit user for a couple weeks ago or however long ago it was. Like as far as gatekeeping and saying like, oh no, you must like the sequels and that sort of thing, or you must be sensitive to sequel fans or any of that BS. Even though he was feeding Theory that narrative that I hate when people use because it's not realistic. Even though he was doing that sort of thing, he admitted he was wrong. But that it got a little overboard. He was too persistent in his apologies, and he I don't want to be harsh here, but he made himself look like a simp for Theory. He's even saying like, "Oh, I hope you have me back someday." And it's just like really kissing ass. I don't know why he felt the need to do that. Like, dude, he's no better than you. He may be older and more experienced. He may know how to bullshit people better. He may have more subscribers. It doesn't mean, dude, subscribers doesn't mean anything. Even Theory was saying that. But again, I don't buy it from him. I don't buy anything he says. He has an agenda. Now, for the most part, when YouTubers get that popular with millions of subs, they kind of feel pressure to have an agenda and to do things a certain way for views. I would never be that way. I bet there's a lot of people who wouldn't, who would stay true to themselves. I don't see Theory as that kind of person. I mean, he does stay true to himself when it comes to Star Wars opinions, as far as like he's open about his dislike of the sequels, particularly The Last Jedi, and I can appreciate that because I mean, for the most part, they were pretty bad movies. It's hard to argue with that, but I always say if people like a movie or they dislike it, I mean that's at the end of the day that's their thing. Like I said, Attack of the Clones, probably the most hated Star Wars movie, is like right up there for me, number 2, right behind Revenge of the Sith in terms of my favorite Star Wars movies. I I could try to convince people, tell them blue in the face that it's a great movie and that that the hatred for it is unjust because that's how I feel. But why would I frustrate myself? Why would I try to get through to people who will never see it my way? What's the sense? I guess that would be my question to Levi. Why if you in your heart of hearts love The Last Jedi and it's something you enjoy, why are you trying to get people to agree with your opinion on the film? Just enjoy the film. If you like the film, more power to you, and that's great. And that's great that you can enjoy it. I wish I could. But the thing you have to keep in mind here is that Theory did not have to retaliate. Okay? He could have just assessed the situation and saw that we're talking about a 19-year-old here who isn't very experienced, doesn't know a whole lot, to be quite frank, because that's just the way it is. The older you are, the more experience you have, the better you are in arguments and debates. Because, yeah, I'm sure by the time you're 30, you've heard a lot more than someone who's 19 or 22 or 25. But the problem I have is he used that against him. He tried to make a mockery of him, which shows he was triggered. Something set off in him because that wasn't really a normal reaction. Because if someone were to criticize me or the way I do something, I'd kind of just laugh it off. And if it were true, I'd say, like, hey, you're right, man, I need to work on that. Or if it was false, I would just say to myself and others, well, that's not true. I don't need to worry about that. The fact it struck a nerve and he was offended, it was pretty obvious because he goes on a tangent for 15 minutes about it and then a half hour the next night. I don't know. A lot of people are going to defend Theory on this one. I think he's just as much to blame, if not more so. I know Levi's the one who started it with his regrettable, unfortunate comments, but at the end of the day, Theory's the one who prolonged it. You can tell he made the kid feel like shit. But I will say this, in a way, the kid kind of had it coming because he was being confrontational. Because, like, saying that, like, I have a problem with your channel. Now, you got to remember, I don't know how many people were watching this stream. Maybe it was like 3,000. You going on someone's channel who's trying to get you exposure to new viewers and that sort of thing, even if it is a publicity stunt, which I believe it is. But regardless, it's views for your channel. Be grateful. Don't go start shit with other people. Okay? Say the roles were reversed and say Theory was crapping on The Empire Strikes Back, basically the most loved Star Wars film uh, by all fans for the most part. Let it go. Let people think what they want to think. I mean, you're not doing yourself or anyone else any good by trying to change their mind. Everyone has their opinion. Now, there are times you may hear some facts and a rational person will analyze it and say, huh, well, is this true? Is it not true? And you make your own determinations. But for the most part, I feel like, especially in the Star Wars community, people are pretty stubborn and they stick to their guns. So why even bother making that argument? Okay, I think a 1 to 2 minute rant on the kid may have been justified for his approach, which I just don't understand why he felt the need to do that. That's fine. It probably was warranted, but 15 minutes one night and 30 minutes the next night. It wasn't just the length; it was the content and this sort of like undertone of superiority on Theory's part. That like basically like, haha, I'm 30 years old. You're a 19-year-old kid. I can roast the fuck out of you, basically. He seemed to get off on it. That's just my interpretation. I could be completely wrong. I'm a bystander to the situation. I basically, when it comes to concrete facts, I know as much as you do. So who am I to say? I'm just giving my honest assessment of the situation, and you know, I guess my advice also to theory would be, and people are probably going to say like again, oh, you have 20 subscribers. Who are you to give advice to anybody? We're two human beings, and no one's better than anyone else, regardless of fame or money or any of that or age. So I can give advice to people just like people can give advice to me. So what I would say is, if I were theory, I would try to think about giving fans more tangible Star Wars content and maybe steering clear of the clickbait sort of material and the speculations and the, oh, is this what George Lucas meant? Is this it's probably not. Whatever you're thinking, because George Lucas has done millions of interviews. He's basically confirmed everything he had in his mind. Everything else is just your interpretation. But again, now I'm saying this from, at least in my estimation, a rational point of view. But he's probably thinking more in terms of like, how can I get as many viewers as possible? And basically, people love the clickbait titles, they love the speculation. So he's going to keep going with that. And he's probably making a lot of money, and good for him. But not everyone's going to agree with it. And he probably doesn't care if people don't agree with it. He's making a good living. So I do think a lot of times that happens. Like the more popular you get, people sort of have this attitude of like, fuck what everyone else thinks. Which, to a degree, you got to balance it because there is like a sort of I don't know. You got to have a semblance of like self-worth, self-esteem, and realize that you're doing the best you can, and like don't let critics get to you necessarily. But at the same time, you got to be open-minded to criticism. And a lot of like just popular or rich people in general, they don't take criticism very well because they think, well, I must be doing something right if I'm making all this money or I have this level of popularity. And that may be true, but at least in my opinion, there's always room for improvement, and you should listen to the people who helped you get where you are. I'm not saying I'm one of those people because I've never contributed a thing to him. I've watched some of his videos. I used to think, I mean, he's very knowledgeable about Star Wars, but he doesn't use it in the right way, in my opinion. He uses his knowledge to trick people, to use like Jedi mind tricks, basically. That like, I mean, I want to give more concrete, like, sort of definitions of what I'm talking about here. So I'm gonna go to his channel real quick and uh, see some of his latest videos, or just like the titles, just to give myself a reference of what I'm talking about here. And um, because I don't know off the top of my head specific titles of his videos. So here's one, and it's not like specifically what I was talking about, I guess, but 10 interesting facts about Jedi Master Coleman Trevor. Now, here's the thing about that. Now, for those of you who don't know, Coleman Trevor's the Jedi who was in the frame of the Battle of Geonosis for like 2 seconds. It gets gunned down by Jango Fett. This is a pretty cool moment for Jango, but this character is pretty irrelevant. And, you know, but there are no 10 interesting facts about Coleman Trevor. I mean, because he's a meme and because people laugh at him because of his funny design, people are going to click on that. But nobody, there are no 10 facts about him. All he, dude, his name came from like some, I guess, Trevor is reverse of Robert, and Robert Coleman was like a uh, did some sort of work on the Attack of the Clones set. I don't know if it was in production or something, but speaking of Coleman Trevor, another example would be like when he made a video one time about like, what if Coleman Trevor killed Count Dooku? What a fucking stupid name for a video. I mean, no offense here, but like, it would have never happened because there's trying to have fun and there's shamelessly trying to get views because it gets people, unfortunately, like the lowest common denominator of people think like, oh, what if Coleman Trevor did kill Count Dooku? It would have never happened. It wasn't, dude. He was such a throwaway character. It's not even funny. So that's there's no substance to a video like that. So I guess that's sort of the thing I'm talking about. Um, I don't mean to get off topic here, but I was just browsing YouTube for a minute and I see. Now, I haven't played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in a few months. I got kind of burnt out from it, but I see Arnold T101, who I'm subscribed to, probably the greatest Galaxy of Heroes player in the galaxy. Uh, he looks like he broke the news about a new galactic legend in the game, uh, Master Kenobi from Episode 3. Fans have been calling for this basically since day one, so I'm really glad to see it. That's great. Um, oh, and it looks like there's going to be a Commander Ahsoka Tano as well, like Ahsoka from the last season of the Clone Wars. That's great. Keep it coming. I mean, I gotta be honest. When it comes to Galaxy of Heroes, there's been so many like throwaway characters, like Admiral Piet or whatever his name is, or Wat Tambor, and they're overpowered. Like it sucks the way they do it. They got to stop putting throwaway characters in the game because what happens is characters like Qui Gon Jinn, who have been there since the beginning, are trash now. Yet you keep throwing in all these like random ass characters who are becoming powerful. It's one of the reasons I stopped playing the game. I don't want to play as Wat Tambor or even Kiadi Mundi. Like, I mean, come on. But I digress. So back to the point of the video. I definitely sympathize with Levi to a degree. Because regardless of the way he handled things initially, he didn't deserve to be shit on for 45 minutes by someone who didn't have to do that. You know, it's obvious feels so insecure about himself that he felt the need to rip this kid for. So if I'm Star Wars Theory and I'm hearing this, I guess more or less punk teenager talking crap about my channel, am I really going to give it much credence? Am I really going to sit there and analyze it and debate it? Just don't engage. It's not worth your time. And I know why he did it. He tried to embarrass him for an ego boost. He had all his like friends there and stuff who um I don't mean to again, I don't mean to like be critical of people here, but there was this one individual, I think her name was Catherine, and so when Levi was talking, making his point about theory and his channels, he has a problem with his channel and stuff. She gave him like the most condescending, like arrogant look, like he was the biggest piece of shit that ever lived. Now, look, I didn't agree with his comments either, but the fucking entitlement you can just tell with people sometimes that you saw on this individual's face as like a how dare you thing. Like, no, he can speak out if he wants. I mean, people might call him an idiot for the content of what he was saying, but still, he has the free will to do whatever he wants. So, sort of, that's an example of gatekeeping too. Is saying you can't say that. My attitude on it is like I would never tell someone like Levi like you're not allowed to say these things. I would just maybe say like, well, your statements are rather more moronic, in my opinion, because everything's subjective. So I don't want to make this too long. I already went much longer than I wanted to, but just wanted to address this. Um, and look, I think Star Wars Theory really needs to revamp his channel. He's been doing the same shtick for years. I do think it's good he tries to, I guess, promote smaller YouTubers, but again, he's just patting himself on the back, tooting his own horn about that. It's just a publicity stunt. Uh, Someone in his position should be giving back to the community and helping anyways. It's not an achievement. So I wouldn't say I have a problem with the channel like Levi said, but because I don't care about the channel enough to have a problem with it per se. I just don't think it's that good anymore. I think obviously he had humble beginnings, and I think he was pretty good with what he did for a while. His videos had substance, but no, he phones it in now. There's no doubt about it. And because there's name recognition, now people are just going to click on it. So, but not me. There's the I think there's better Star Wars YouTubers out there. But again, it's just my personal opinion on the matter. Um, and I don't think it's cool what Star Wars Theory was doing to Levi. I don't want to use the term bullying. That word is used so liberally now, and like too like interchangeably. Like I wouldn't call it bullying, but you were trying to make the kid feel bad. You were trying to humiliate him in front of your fan base in an act of retaliation because you couldn't handle what he said. Again, was what he said stupid? Absolutely. He even admitted it was. And I don't mean to repeat myself here, but once again, my advice to Levi would be don't kiss his ass. Don't like if you believe in your heart what you're saying is true, stand by it. Don't let these people like tell you what you can and can't say. I mean, it's one thing if you felt genuinely apologetic, but I think he was just trying to save face at that point, and I think he just wanted to be in the good graces of Theory for some reason. I don't know why anyone would care, but again, I guess the moral of this video is everyone has their own individual thoughts and beliefs and feelings, and they act accordingly. No two people are the same. Everyone disagrees. But I think how we handle that is very important. And like 95% of the time, especially in the Star Wars community, uh, people feel the need to go on personal tangents about someone's subjective opinion. And they were both doing that to each other. It started with Levi attacking Theory for his opinion, and then vice versa. Because uh, two rights don't make a wrong. So just because Levi comes in there and starts saying, like, oh, don't talk about the sequels this way, doesn't mean you have to rant on him for 45 minutes. Period. It doesn't mean you have to um, try to embarrass the kid, you know? Because let's face it, he's in a position of vulnerability there, and as far as like he's a little young and green in the world, doesn't understand as much, and you can manipulate him easily. And I think he knew that. I think Theory knew that, and I think he got off on it, on having the power. Because for some people, having popularity and money and stuff, it can go to your head. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think I kind of compare it to like the WWE right now. Like they're doing better than ever financially, but they are so creatively stifled. It's not even funny. You can say the same about Theory's channel. I can't remember the last time I've watched anything significant or enjoyable on there. I mean, and it seems like he has no passion for it anymore. Like In every one of his videos, he's has the same boring, monotone, stoic tone of voice. I know people could say the same about me because I'm naturally soft spoken, but the difference is like he claims to be so passionate about Star Wars. I feel like I am too, but he doesn't express it. And I understand like everyone has a different tone of voice and like, you know, but he doesn't express it in any way, not even in the quality of his videos. And I guess that's the biggest problem. He just relies on clickbait titles and stupid speculation like of all these like what ifs like um what if what if Watto freed Shmi Skywalker? Okay, what if? Who cares? That's not what happened. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess a good one would be like, what if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side? But like, for like minor shit that nobody cares about, you're clickbaiting, catering to the lowest common denominator. I know you have knowledge of Star Wars. You're better than this. My advice would be to make videos that um, are actually thought provoking and are more factual because you kind of make shit up as you go along, if we're being honest. But hey, that Levi kid um, may not have necessarily handled things the right way either. But I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a lot more likable than you, Theory. At least from what I could tell. Um, Again, just my thoughts on the situation. Um, at the end of the day, people are going to interpret the situation any way they do or don't. And look, I could be completely wrong here. I have the humility to admit that I don't have all the answers. I could be way off here. But if you don't have all the facts to the situation, and you're not behind the scenes, and you're only a bystander, you only are looking at it from the outside, all you can do is make judgments and determinations on your own. It's really all you can do. So I I hope Levi recovers from this. He came across as a pretty decent person to me. I think he will. Again, people's attention spans are so short. They're gonna forget this even happened within a couple weeks, so they're gonna stop attacking his channel and stuff. And um, if he can stay away from like the political correctness stuff and telling people that they need to say, in my opinion, or if you can just like keep it to Star Wars and nothing but, don't bring politics into it, don't talk about the US president and all this other shit. If you can keep it to just Star Wars, I think people are gonna enjoy your content. And as far as Theory, he has the magic wand. He has all the fans in the world. It's up to him if he wants to feel creatively fulfilled as an individual. Because right now it would appear to me he's just going for the quick view, and it's sad. Um, a lot of the people on his panel too. I know it's not really about them, but they didn't really add much either. I mean, there's nothing worse than like you go to a stream and there's maybe say 8 or 10 people in it, and you get like maybe 2 or 3 people talking. Everyone should speak up. Like too many people, I guess, like feel humbled in Theory's presence, but that's the dumbest thing ever. He's not iconic. He's not a celebrity, and even if he were, you got to keep in mind, we're all human beings. We all shit out of our assholes, and that's basically all there is to it. So I would encourage anyone who's in Theory's room to speak out, say what they need to say. I wouldn't say necessarily be confrontational and personally attack like Levi did, but make your opinions known. If people don't like it, whatever. So, you know, we all make mistakes when we're young. And I think Levi learned from his mistake and he's going to come back from this. Theory, I'm not so sure about. He's much older and he's acting entitled and he's acting petty and acting offended. So, I don't know how many people have the courage to honestly say how they perceive the situation when it pertains to Theory, but I do. I'm gonna tell it like it is. I think he kind of didn't. He didn't have to go that far, and it was purely a power move to put this kid in his place. And it's like, okay, what did you accomplish? Okay, you shut up a 19-year-old kid and made him kiss your ass. Does that make you proud? Don't you have better things to do with your 3 billion subscribers and the sort of fan base that you're privileged to have? And you might say, like, oh, well, I earned it. And, like, not really, man. I mean, in the beginning, you did because you put out quality content, but you got complacent, you got lazy over time. You started putting out videos that nobody really gives a fuck about, and it's just the name recognition of why people still watch. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I encourage everybody to formulate their own opinion on the matter. Don't take my word as gospel. Just my individual beliefs and perception of the situation. Um, I don't mean to come across as negative or anything, but I just wanted to address this because I was watching it last night and I was just kind of baffled by both parties. I'm thinking, like, is this how people really act now? It was kind of cringy to watch, to be honest. But, anyways, hope you all enjoy the rest of your night. Please stay tuned for more videos that I'm going to be making in the future. And give this video a like, leave a comment if you'd like, and yeah, that's about it. For anyone wondering, this picture here is of Dexter Jetster, not Pong Krell. I just thought it'd be a funny little icon to add. So, yeah, I know I don't upload as frequently on here anymore. I've been liking StreamYard a lot lately, so I'll try to get a couple random streams up like this in the future. The Galaxy of Heroes thing, I mean, it's really cool that they're putting General Kenobi in the game and Ahsoka. We'll probably hear the announcement for like pre-Darth Vader, like in Episode 3, like like Anakin falling to the dark side. I'm sure we'll hear any minute that he's going to be a galactic legend too, which fans have been saying for like basically 6 years that we want this. So it's good to finally see. It's not necessarily going to make me come back to the game, but I'm happy for fans who are playing who get to play as their favorite characters now. But unfortunately, the requirements are probably going to be insane. None of you are probably going to play as them for like a year. You're probably going to have to relic really stupid characters like um again, like your Ki-Adi-Mundis of the world, or I wouldn't be surprised if they put Bail Organa in the game, but you have to relic him. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. I don't want to go on a tangent about Galaxy of Heroes because oh man, I could rant about that game all day. I have very much have like a love hate relationship with the game. But with that said, um, not the best with conclusions here. I apologize for that. But yeah, definitely stay tuned because I will be making more StreamYard videos. And hope everyone has a good rest of their night. And may the force be with you. And make sure to tune into the first episode of the Bad Batch on May 4th. I think that's going to be really awesome. And well, until next time, guys.